do you hold something if you don't have a hold down? Well, you should probably make a hold down. That would be the smart thing to do. Okay, so with some very incredibly precise tools and measurements, I'll boop down a center punch right there. Ah! Did I actually get that? Nope, I did not. Okay. Alright. That will give me something to aim for. Which honestly, that's about what we're doing. But for eyeballing it, how'd we do? Could be better. The first one's fairly well centered, comparatively, as weird as that is. The other one, not so much. Anyway. Good. That's not so good. I bounced a little. Shake. Instead of cutting, punching down, just made a second punch. Bugger and blast. That did not go at all how I hoped. Okay. I'm not going to try the big heavy duty guy, make the counter sink like I wanted to. I think I'm just going to go for a little one, make the actual hole for the screw, and call that good. Let's just set fire to my glove. Hooray! That little thing, the heat goes out of it so incredibly fast. One of the pieces I wanted to make out of that know if you could see that. Already, yeah, damn thing don't want to focus. Already broke my tool. Wow. Okay. Note to self, don't buy any more of them. Son of a bitch. I suppose what that breaking immediately tells me is that I wasn't doing a good job hitting it square. Shit. As I immediately miss it. And knock it on the ground. Hooray. That's going to fall off in a second as soon as I hit this, I bet. There's no way to set that whole stinking thing. Did that actually accomplish something? Maybe. Maybe we're getting close. Okay, go, crouch. Can I see? Nope, not very well. God damn. Oh, maybe. Haha! Maybe. Is that the frickin'... Let's go. Ah, shit. Reminder. Cool off your tools. You don't put things in for too terribly long or else they heat up and lose their temper. I keep flipping it over to look at the backside. There's supposed to be like a little dark spot, though when the whole thing cools off that it is all a dark spot, it's hard to tell. It looks like I'm still not deep enough for it. Ah. Don't really have a black spot, but I do have that little bump, that little blister where the metal is pushed out a bit. So I'm going to knock that off from the other side to try to get a relatively clean hole. Hence the flipping it over and all that, but I would rather have it a little warmer personally. Okay, once in from the top. Oh. And one's out from the top. Squidge that a little. Come on out. Damnation. There we go. That spent way too long in here, so let's get you into the water. That made a cute little sound, like I just completely redid the temperance. I'm crazy about that. Back here. Suppose if I splash a little water and watch where the steam comes up, I can find the biscuit. Don't quite know where it ended up on that ground that all looks the same. Alright, so with a little practice, hopefully that's one down and one down well. Time for the next. The hold fast hold down wouldn't even work for this right here. By gimme, mushrooming the end. I'd like to blame that on cheap tools, but I think that was my fault for keeping it in the heat for too long. I'll probably blame it on cheap tools anyway. I sure hope I have a tiny little file, because I imagine when this cools down and everything shrinks up a little bit, this might be a tight fit from the screws. We'll see. I have to say, as long as this is taking me, it's hard for me to believe that I made a knife in a day. problem with pounding it over the Pritchel hole. I should have done it like the other one and pounded it flat at first. Maybe I'll clean it up a touch, then redo it. That looks a lot nicer. I think we're getting close to the final punch on that. Shite. Come on. Maybe if I do it a little lower, not as much will go into it. Oh, hey. Whoop. Little shit. Oh, what a pain in the butt this has become. That was a close call. Nearly dropped the dang thing. Let's get a better tongue grip. Much better. Okay. I feel like I'm really close to having it done here. Oh, no, not quite. Oh, that little bugger is just holding on for dear life, but you are almost out of there. All right. Would you just drop? Just fall out. See the little bugger just hanging in there. A little dot in the middle of the piece. How many things can I drop off the table all at once? It's just back down where it was before now. Hooray! Little prick. Did I just smack that down about right? Yeah, that's hot. How many times can I burn myself today? Wait. File the punch down so that I can get it off. Maybe. Oh, what a fine how do you do, eh? Wedge that in the pritchel hole. They're a long way from pretty, aren't they? But significantly longer than I need, which is probably a good thing at the rate today is going. Okay, this is going to be the front face of it. Part of me thinks this might be a little too thick for what I want to do. Maybe, maybe not. I guess we will shortly find out. Alright. Let's see if we can do this. I should have cleaned that up first, honestly. Maybe I can make a bit of a swirl with it. Wiggle, wiggle. thick for the end of a ribbon scroll. So I'm not 100% sure what to do with that. That sure is ugly. I'm not 100% sure if I want to leave that or try to work on it some more or what. You can't see my measuring mark, but I suppose that's all right. Yeah, hell, we'll try again. How does that look from the side to you? It doesn't look very good to me, but I think I'm gonna work and just run with it. While we have some heat left in here still, let's start making the big one. Alright, that's getting pretty hard to move, so starting to make some shape. Since I don't want the end bending too much, I went and quenched it. What my goal was for a moment there. Just got so excited about pounding and bending. I need to heat this end up and flatten it out a bit. Need this mark from the edge to be the lowest point of the curve. So it will curve down to that and then up again. It really doesn't need to be precise, it just needs to hit bottom about there. So I quenched both ends a bit to try to get a little more of an acute angle. You can see where the, well, you might not be able to see, but the sharp edge of that really made a mess on that. Okay. Okay, I have a little mark on there already. Yeah. I'll make a sharp turn upwards. See how that goes. Punch the tip of that. I'm not holding on to that correctly. This is the kind of thing that you really ought to figure out before you take it over to your anvil and lose all the heat. Okay. For future reference. Now I know. Okay, good. There is a mark on the bottom side. So I just need to catch it this way. Swoop it. Perfect. Take 3 or 4, whatever we're up to. Hey, hey, hey. That is pretty close to right. Honestly, I wouldn't mind. That's going to be a pain in the butt, isn't it? Yep, I can't hold it like that. Hold it like this. Alright. Well, it's all sorts of cockeyed and cattywampus and all of the stuff like that. Rather than try to deal with all that on the anvil, I'm going to get it warm, move it back to the vise, clamp it in there, and then attempt to manually adjust it. Think of this as a little chiropractor work for it. Oh, what fun! Okay. think... No, it's still a little bendy. It's bad to say I think I've let it cool down too much, but it moved a little. Okay. Okay. I'm going to cool this off and start doing some measuring and test fitting and see how it goes. So it is, of course, way bigger and way heavier than it needs to be. It's not very well finished. It's pretty rustic would be a polite way to put it. Though I think amateur would be a little more correct. But I think this will suffice. This will be the first run of sorts. This hook's going to hold my scythe. I'll try to make the next one much prettier for my girlfriend to hold her scythe. Oh yeah, somewhere in the forming of it and everything, the front and the back of the holes got turned around. I'd wanted this side to be the front, as it does have a little bit of a dimple from trying to punch with the other larger punch, so that the screws fit kind of flat almost, but not quite as well, ugly as they do from the other side. I was considering warming it up in a spot, or I guess warming it up, quenching bits of it, and giving it a twist. But as wide as this is, I don't think it will twist well and sit against the wall. So I'm just going to shrug, say, yeah, so it goes. Anyway, I'm going to give this a little clean and a polish, grab the old angle grinder and go to work on that. And assuming I have any heat left in my forge, I'm going to warm it up a dab and give it some oil so it's slightly protected against adverse conditions. Yay. All right. Well, a bit prettier than she was. Still not a looker by any stretch of the imagination. prospect of this makes me very glad that I made these sacrificial covers for my vise. How the heck am I going to get into that? I suppose in a way that isn't really too conducive to good filming. Not that, you know, good filming is stop me before you do it. Well, that went about as good as we hoped. And that's why you don't use an angle grinder on something that isn't securely held down. Yeah, boy. On the other hand, this looks relatively decent. I did kind of take a chunk out of my grinding wheel, though. Still, the fact that that thing didn't go winging off and bop me in the side of the face or something. Sometimes you need a very strong reminder of why safety is important and why we do the things we do. Anyway, it's warm enough already, I might just rub a little oil in it as it is. I bet I still have some heat in that fridge. I'll toss it in and then I'll oil it up. So after sitting in the forge a moment or two while I cleaned up some stuff, this is currently too hot to handle, but only just barely. I can hover my hand over it and it's pretty much all right. I'm going to give this one a coat of some Danish oil. I've heard that it makes a kind of a, oh, what would you say, more of a waxy cover. I don't know if that's quite right or not, but I figure this is a very small, very inconsequential piece to try it out on. So while it's nice and warm, ooh, we will zoom a little bit on. I assume you oil them when they're hot because the pores of the iron are a bit more open at that point in time, and the oil kind of sinks in. That's always the theory that I've been running with the cast iron, as I do pretty much the same thing with cast iron. After I clean it, I give it a nice coating of oil while it's still pretty warm for seasoning. I'm having tongue problems right now. There we go. All right. So I assume it's about the same for this. One thing I have to say, the Danish oil here is not very good smelling when it's nice and burning. Make sure we have a good solid coat over the whole thing. Get into the assorted nooks and crannies as best as we can. So that's the thing. It's nice and oily, pretty and shiny at the moment. I'm just going to kind of let that sit there. I'm going to dispose of this paper rag in a nice flammable fashion, as assorted oils that sit around on rags have a chance of spontaneously combusting. While the jury's still out on spontaneous human combustion, oily rags, that's a well-known hazard. So, anyway, I'm going to go get rid of this and go move on. Probably start setting up the next one pretty soon, because as I said, I need 2 hooks. I have one. Well, with the situation with the punch, of course, making the second hook, that's going to be a bit delayed. I need a new punch for that, which means I need the oil warmer for that, and it's just tool for a tool for a tool for a tool for a side project now. So, thought we would still take a moment, take our little hook, and hang up one of these scythes. I've already made a pilot hole for this first one through the plaster on the old lath and plaster walls. We haven't even got around to painting the kitchen area here, so it still is that this ugly brown color with a nice flipper brown. Just wanted to let you know that's not my choice, or our choice I should say. Just quickly punch this in. Away we go, slipping and sliding. This way I can kind of let it dangle, since they're 2 in a row, to, say, straighten out itself, determine where it wants to hang, and just leave it to it. Honestly, 1 screw hole would probably be enough, but I don't want to take chances. So, just using a little, well, not a little, a 3-inch finish nail. There we go. Trying to put a screw in, even these self-drilling ones, through this well, the plaster on here is a bit of a bother. So this makes it much quicker and much easier. And I love doing things as efficiently as I possibly can. Normally, says the guy who just got in from mowing the ditch with the scythe. So, I still say it's better than a string trimmer. And at the 2 wheelbarrows full of hay-length grass, you wouldn't have been able to take a proper mower over it. Alright, it feels pretty sturdy. Good deal. Alright, time to hang this up. This is that point in the movie where, you know, go to hang it up and then the entire house will fall down around the hook. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And I would say it didn't. So, one down. But that's going to do it for me for now. So, hope you have a wonderful day. Leave any comments if you have any down below. We'll see you next time.